Many thanks for clicking on to attheraces.com and welcome along to another Cheltenham Festival preview, this time with Mick Fitzgerald, turning our attentions to the RSA chase, which many refer to as the Novices Gold Cup.
Yeah, and you know, the interesting thing about the race, it has been a little bit of a graveyard for punters in recent years. But just look at the last two winners of the race. You know, the last few years, you've got Lord Windermere, who's gone on and won a Gold Cup. You've got Bobsworth, who's gone on and won Gold Cup. So suddenly everybody thinks this is the race to run in. So it can be a little bit of a war of attrition. So you need a horse that's got no stamina doubts, and I think that is the key to this race. And
one horse with no stamina doubts at the top of the market is Don Poley, who does have the option as well of going up to 4 miles at the festival as well.
Yeah, this was a very interesting race at Leopardstown. What you've got to watch for me here is just watch how this horse is allowed to pop the last, gives Apache Stronghold a chance. Look at that. Brian Cooper thought, I've got a little bit in reserve. I don't need to be silly here. And just watch the response. I said you need a horse that stays. Just watch this horse kick to the line. And Apache Stronghold has franked this form. He's gone on and won at Leopardstown since in a Grade 1. And I like this horse, Don Poley. There's been a little bit of a, not a war, but a little bit of a battle going on between the owners, Gigginstown Stud, and Willie Mullins. Willie has said, I'd really like this horse to run in the 4 miler, the National Hunt Chase. Because Willie has always held this horse in really high regard, and he thinks he's a Gold Cup horse.
Well, that was the vibe when he won last year at the Martin Pipe race, wasn't it? That he was going to be a Gold Cup horse for plus 2 years.
Yeah, so Willie, and maybe rightly so, he thinks, let's go for the soft option this year. Let's run in the 4 miler, where he's so much better than the others. He can dawdle around and win and not have too hard a time of it. You don't have easy races in the RSA, and maybe that's why Willie is so keen to not run in this race. But Brian Cooper, he's adamant that this is the race for the horse. Michael O'Leary normally gets what Michael O'Leary wants, and if they want this horse to run in here, he'll be running.
OK, well, here's the current favourite for the RSA. Apache Stronghold, to be beat there, has come back in distance since and is likely to go over the 2.5 mile race at the festival and the JLT as well. But we can have a look at some domestic form this time, featuring a horse who, well, he's attracted a fair few headlines through the year, Mick. This is the young master for Neil Mulholland.
Yeah, this is back in September winning at Worcester. And, you know, who was to think that when we saw this horse win, he would end up being a live player in the RSA? He's solid, jumps really well. He's got an honest way of going about his business. And he was robbed of that win at Wincanton because he wasn't qualified. But he proved that that was no fluke when winning at Ascot next time in a really competitive event. I think he's solid. And I think he's a very good each way in a race that has thrown up a few surprises in the past. And you wouldn't be that surprised if you looked at the results the next day and saw that he'd won.
And if you use the RSA, if you use the Hennessy form as well as a guide, he's beaten Hoblon de Zobo at Ascot. He was second in the Hennessy behind Many Clouds. So yeah, it's a Gold Cup form line almost.
Yeah, it is. And, you know, I do think that, you know, you're looking for reasons to back a horse. There's plenty of reasons to back him in this race. And, you know, I think he's a lively player. That's the young master. Let's have a look at Southfield Theatre, who we could see in action early on in the campaign. This is back in October at Chepstow. And he's a horse, Mick, who has got festival form. Yes, I cannot emphasise enough the importance of that with any horse running at the festival. If they've got a good previous run, have another look at them. Because this horse was placed in a Pertemps. So you know he stays, you know he's able to handle the rigours of the festival, because it is a totally different ball game to anything that these horses experience on a daily basis. The races are run differently, there's no hiding place. And this horse has proven that he's capable of that level of form. I was impressed with him last time. He jumped really smartly. He's a solid horse. And Paul Nicholls, you know, he's felt that he's peaking him at the right time now coming into the festival. OK, we can stay at Chepstow as well and have a look at Sausalito's Sunrise for Philip Hobbs, who won this day, has twice been second then to King's Palace and comes to the festival with a fall against his name at Kempton over Christmas. Yeah, I just think this horse is very raw. I don't think he's quite the finished article. And finished article, you need to be for a race like the RSA. And, you know, I'm not saying that he's not up to it, because he is. His form tells you he's up to it. But the worry is, I just don't think he's quite, you know, the finished product.
And he has got that form to reverse with King's Palace. So it's worth a mention as well, Mick, for David Pipe. He's 3 from 3 over fences.
Yes, he is. And the worry is, for me, with him, bombed out at last year's festival. I've said already the importance of previous festival form. It's also important if you've got negative festival form, because does it show that you're not able to cope with the rigours of the Cheltenham Festival? With King's Palace, there was no apparent excuse why he bombed out in the Albert Bartlett. He was very strongly fancied. He looked like he had every chance and just folded. Is he going to do the same at the RSA?
His festival form away from that, though, is 4 from 5 at the meeting, adding into that run last year. And just one more, Mick, as well, who is a bit of a dark horse and has taken a different path into this. He won the Sky Bet Chase last time out. This, for AP McCoy on this day, was if in doubt.
Yeah, he's a player, but he's also entered in the 4-miler, this fella. And if they can get a jockey to wrestle him round in the 4-miler, he'll win. AP was brilliant on him this day. He is not a natural, this horse. Very straight-backed. And you can see there at Doncaster, you know, you won't get away with that at Cheltenham. And that would be a concern for me. So, you know, I think if he runs in the 4-miler, I'd be keen on him, because they'll be going that little bit slower. The RSA, I'm not convinced.
Well, he's possible for the 4-miler, as is the favourite Don Poley. So at this stage, Mick, we're not sure where Don Poley's going to go. There's a tug-of-war between owner and trainer. Yeah. King's Palace 5-1. Coney Gree, he's looking more likely, I think, to go for the Gold Cup, and it's 8-1 bar those. Give us the winner of the RSA, if you would.
I think Don Poley is the most likely winner, but at the prices, I'd like to be backing the young master each way.